This isn't the cold open, right? Because I
No,
don't
I
want
don't think so.
I
No,
don't I
not
don't want us to
necessarily.
be like sucking our own dicks already. Like
Right.
we're not
We
that
we
far into it.
we can only do that about like Grandpa Crane stuff. We can't do that
Yeah.
about.
Right.
We
'Cause
gotta
that was
start
years
another
ago.
podcast. We gotta start another podcast, and then we can like be like, man, remember how good There Will Be Duds was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't
Who
know.
knows?
We can do the taekwondo thing. It's
I was
pretty
gonna
good.
say we could start with it. We did start with like Queen Elizabeth has COVID, and that ended up like spiraling into a different thing that we ended up using as our cold open. So
Okay.
Yeah.
we could riff. Okay,
Yeah.
who wants to start the beat
So do you
poetry like beat for us to?
Yes, get your snappers ready.
Yeah. Let's yes and this shit.
Do you think that when they took his belt, because you know they had to take it, you don't get to keep it still. Do you think when they took his black belt, like did he lose all his taekwondo powers?
That is
Yeah,
how taekwondo works.
That's how it works.
How do you get that from him? Do you like does the organization well I guess they're taekwondo guys, so they could probably just kick his ass and then take the belt, right?
I was gonna say, yeah, that feels like an Elder Wand situation or something where if he's a black belt, somebody else has to beat him in combat to take him
to take it
from.
So that's okay. So that's weird because like I feel like there's like honorary doctorates or honorary PhDs that they do for like, oh, you're a great musician or a great intellectual person or you're an author. We're giving you like an honorary degree from this university. That's fine. How do you honorarily give someone a taekwondo belt? You can't just give them the belt and bestow taekwondo abilities to them by giving them the belt. Like it's not like he like wraps the belt and he's just it's like those have you ever seen those videos of like Steven Seagal, like later era Steven Seagal when he's like fighting a bunch of dudes and he's not even moving. It's just like he'll be standing in the middle.
Oh yeah.
And people will run and he'll just be like and he'll like swat him away and it's just like okay.
Like a Pentecostal church pastor where he just like touches them and they like ooh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
vibrate.
Yeah.
But like I'm looking at this picture and it's Putin is standing there with all these other taekwondo guys. But it's just like you're just a doughy little guy. You don't you don't know how to do any of this shit.
But the angle of that picture too makes him look like he's like 4 feet tall.
He's a doughy little guy.
He looks like have you ever seen that meme of like the Joaquin Phoenix Joker like dancing and then there's like a shrunken down version right next to him?
Yeah.
That's what Vladimir Putin looks
He's
like.
like this shrunken down one.
Yeah. I guess if we are doing this for the cold open, I feel like we should state like clearly what because we kind of did just roll into it without stating.
Yeah.
Vladimir Putin's black belt has been revoked by the International Taekwondo Organization. There we go. Now we can.
I guess now that I'm thinking about it, earlier I said, how are they going to take it away from him? Like, won't it be difficult? Actually, he doesn't know Taekwondo at all, so I revoke my statement. Yeah. It's probably very easy to get it back from him because he doesn't. Because he was honorarily given it. He doesn't.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't even think about that. If it is honor, I was gonna say before, like, well, yeah, if he has a black belt, whether or not they take it away from him, right? He still knows, like, he still is like a black belt skilled Taekwondo fighter. But yeah, if it's honorary, does that mean like they literally just gave it to him and he? But then what's the point of having a black belt if you don't actually know?
Well, maybe he does know all this stuff, but he didn't actually go through like a formal like process or something. And they're like, I mean, actually, this dude completely kicks ass, but like, you wouldn't know because he didn't do it the normal way. He didn't go K through 12. He just went straight to 12.
Right? Yeah, it could be. It could be something like that.
I do love the image of him, like, of the like. That's like the Second Amendment in Russia. It's like, you want my guns? Come and take it. And he's like, you want my belt? Come and take it. He's just standing on his porch with his fists up.
I got some breaking news. It also looks like Vladimir Putin's recorder black belt has been revoked by the International Recorder Organization.
So he's got his fists up. his fist up, and his recorder.
He's just furiously playing hot cross buns.
He's got recorder nunchucks, and he's just like flailing them around.
Wait, okay. So he was the honorary president and ambassador of the International Judo Federation as well.
Well, I think Putin used to be, he was KGB. He was a military guy, so he probably knows some stuff.
Honorary military.
He's an honorary military.
I guess it seems like I mean, it's hard to tell what's true and false right now, but it seems like ever since that happened, since you shared that in the chat, that like the atrocities there's been a significant uptick in like fucked up shit that he's been doing, targeting civilians and stuff. So I mean,
it's because the Taekwondo organization took away his belt.
Like, I was only gonna go for like one more day, but you know what?
You made it
Fuck
personal.
you guys. Yeah.
Oh, like that. Oh, like little things like this, and then
it's the dominoes. It's like the one little domino that gets knocked over, and then
yeah, like Facebook is created, and then
like the little domino is like, I don't know.
There are so many situations that a little domino would be Facebook is created.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
Yeah,
so
for
many
real.
just like, and it's so funny because we were talking earlier about your best movies of the decade, which I don't think we've plugged in on the podcast yet. Go watch the 5-part series of TJ's best movies of the decade. But spoilers for your number one is The Social Network, which is ironic that a movie so good is about something that has become so
dumb.
Terrible.
I know.
Just like so bad for everybody and political discourse and just like everything.
I mean, even at the time, it was like the Facebook movie.
Yeah.
And I think it so easily could have just been like the Facebook movie. But to me, it's like I don't even think of it as like the Facebook movie anymore. It's just The Social Network.
Yeah.
It's a movie I like. Yeah. I did clarify.
That is the magic of Facebook.
Of Fincher.
It has assimilated itself into your life so much that you're like, oh, it's not even the Facebook movie. It's just the movie. The best movie.
Oh, I see what you're saying, yeah. Yeah, the like in the metaverse, there's gonna be like Zuckerberg's own like his like how Stephen King didn't like Stanley Kubrick's The Shining, so Zuckerberg's gonna make a metaverse social network.
In 10 years, everybody's favorite movie will be The Social Network.
I'm trying to think of what his would be. The Sociable Network. Meta work. I don't know.
The human interaction network.
Yeah. With all the sweet baby rays. That was a thing, right?
Yeah.
It was like people were noticing that he just had bottles of sweet baby rays around him.
I'm a normal person.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you guys seen the music video that his sister made about like crypto? It's like a cover of We're Not Gonna Take It by Twisted Sister.
Oh Jesus.
But it's like all about crypto, and it's really rough.
And with that, the movie this week was
perfect segue.
It's really terrible. I'll get you tickets. That's what I was trying to think.
I mean, we can cut this, but did you guys see about it was like the guy this billionaire like husband and wife that are like Zoomers that have been caught like. It was like the biggest crypto fraud.
I think I know this one too. Yeah.
And they found her music that she made, and she calls herself the Crocodile of Wall Street, and she has these just terrible raps, and it's like
the rapper. Yep, I've seen that.
It's like slightly enhanced by the fact that like she has like a slight speech impediment, so it's just like hearing her rap like trying to be super hard, but then she's got like the speech impediment is like. Pretty funny.
Yeah.
I listened to like a deep dive podcast about it, and it kind of seems like they were set up like sort of in a way like yeah, do this thing because you guys are young and stupid and you'll be patsies for us, but just like listening to her music is so terrible.
Yeah, I think I saw that because Anthony Fantano did like a needle drop style like review on one of her songs or whatever.
Jesus.
They did it on TMG too.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
On what?
Tiny Meat Gang.
Oh, okay. I thought you said TNG, like the Next Generation.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Max Fun Show podcast. And now welcome to There Won't Be Nick. I'm your host, Travis, aka the Super General.
And I'm your special guest star, TJ, aka J Spot Jack Cheese.
Thanks for joining me here today, TJ. I hear you're an expert in the field of nicks and absences of Nick. What can you share? What's your background? Just give us a little bit of.
Yeah. So I've known Nick since before he knew me. I'll just say that it's been a very long time, and I'm gonna because he's absent so much, we have to revoke his Taekwondo belt or his There Will Be Duds belt. Shit.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
We got Craig's bitch ass in here. Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Craig.
Sorry, Craig.
So, this show is There Will Be Duds, and that was the intro. And this is me, your co-host TJ, aka J Spot Jack Cheese, and with me, as always,
I am Nick, aka Dr. Funk on Twitch, and with me, as always,
I'm Travis, aka the Super General, and yep. Period.
Moose has once again been foiled by time zones.
I hate being last because I don't. Yeah. Much respect to Moose because I don't know how to end it.
You don't know how to be a caboose.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was not feeling as weird about just going into the movie, but now since we did that, now this transition feels a little weirder. But we watched a movie this week from 1971 directed by Mel Stewart called Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, which follows a little boy by the name of Charlie Bucket. I should say it's based on the book by Roald Dahl, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and it follows Charlie Bucket, a poor boy who finds a golden ticket, which gives him a day's tour of the world famous Willy Wonka's chocolate factory, along with 4 other kids, who start getting picked off one by one throughout the movie.
By a sniper
as they tour the strange isolated factory of a very strange isolated man. And yeah, it's kind of become a cult classic over the years. I think this is maybe the first movie that we've, even though Moose is on, I would say, like, of our whole group of all of us, I think this is maybe the first movie that we've done that all of us have seen before.
Right?
Previously.
Yeah, I would agree.
And I guess I should mention, as I'm trying to with these, this one was recommended by Joey Fatone. So
Joey Fatone,
big ups to Joey Fatone for the recommendation.
No, for real. Shout out Joey Fatone.
Yeah. Really shout out, because I haven't seen this movie in a very long time.
No, I really shout out.
I feel like I have seen it like as an adult, or at least as like when I was like in high school or something like that. But it's been a very long time, and it was a very similar situation to like watching The Matrix, where it's a movie I'd seen like a million times, but it's been a very long time. So there's like, I remember like everything that happens, but not necessarily like for instance, the guy early on who's like, oh, nobody ever goes in and nobody ever comes out. I don't remember him having like a cart full of like meat cleavers and stuff.
I did take a note of that.
Really?
But this movie, fucks so much harder than I was expecting it to. I was like, a lot of these movies that I loved as a kid and haven't seen in a while, I'm worried that they won't like hold up as much as I think they would. Or I'll be like, oh, I still like it because of, nostalgia and everything. And I'm sure that maybe that does bias me a little bit, but I really loved watching this movie again. I had a really great time watching it.
Yeah. Spoiler alert. This is going to become abundantly clear as we start to talk about this, but I'm giving this movie a 10 because
nice.
it's I've said in the past that it's in my top 10. I'm not. It's like one of those movies. Like, ask me, like, depending on what mood I'm in. It hovers right around the 10, 9, 10 mark. Yeah, this movie fucking rips. So you said the thing about the creepy dude with the butcher knives and shit.
Yeah.
And I was talking to Kelly. I was like, this is like a little like time capsule of like when there was these kid movies with like genuinely creepy, like, like Home Alone. Like, there's the nice dude that like drags the salt trash can around, and it's like these, or like Brave Little Toaster, where there was parts of like these movies that I loved that like as a kid I was genuinely terrified of. And like this dude, like Slugworth, I was kind of scared of him. He was kind of sketchy, but like the dude with the butcher knife, I was like, oh, this is a part I don't like. But it's like, I'll muscle through it because I love the rest of the movie so much. And I don't feel like they do it quite the same in newer like kids movies, except for maybe like Monster House. Seems like that one had like some creepy shit, but
yeah, maybe, yeah. It's been a while since I've seen that, but.
Yeah. This is definitely a movie that I've seen a lot, like as a child, and I remember the part in the tunnel with the boat being unsettling. I think that's the most often cited section of the movie. That's like the creepiest. But yeah, I didn't realize how the movie goes for like an hour before they get into the actual chocolate factory.
Yeah,
because there was like one point where I paused it to like get up to go to the bathroom, and I looked at the time on the screen. I was like, there's 40 minutes left and they just got into the factory. Like, as a child, I think your perception of time, you think that most of the movie takes place in the factory, but it really doesn't, because it sets up the whole idea of like Charlie and like his poor ass family and his grandparents that live in like their bed, which if they've really been in bed for 20 years, I've seen enough like reality TV about like people who don't get off the couch. Their skin would be fused to like the fibers of the couch. They would have so many diseases, bed sores.
I wrote down for that. No, I did. Think of the smell.
Yeah,
bitch.
But yeah, there's like these little. It's a very funny movie. There's like these little like vignettes like. Of them.
That's
like
what I wanted to touch on earlier. Yeah.
Everyone trying to find these golden tickets, and like these sort of dark news segments where the guy's just like, and it's like, and this has captured the heart of the world, but what happens when it's all done? Do we just go back to being human like that kind of shit? You're like, this is getting really existential.
Yeah,
we're about to witness the greatest miracle of the machine age. Based on the revolutionary Computonian law of probability, this machine will tell us the precise location of the 3 remaining golden tickets. It says, I won't tell, that would be cheating.
He says, the news guy says something like, now let's get back to the regular news. I'm sure there's something else to talk about.
Yeah, it's like a really good satire. And I read Charlie and the Chocolate Factory probably in like 6th or 7th grade, so it's been a long time. But I feel like that's partially like Roald Dahl. I think has a very dry, sort of cynical sense of humor, which obviously he doesn't put on full display in his children's books. But I think it's definitely there. And it's like, there's like the scene where. It's like a scene where it's like your husband's been kidnapped, and
I was laughing the whole scene because I was like, I remember this. And
I did not. I forgot about all those little vignettes.
like that, and like the dude who like makes that like AI machine to like find the Wonka bars. It was cracking me up because I'm like, I remember these scenes so clearly. I don't remember that they are literally just these one-off scenes of just showing how obsessed people are. That like, I like going into the movie this time. I was like, I'm just waiting for Gene Wilder to show up. You know, I'm like, I feel like the movie is just kind of like whatever until then. And really, if it didn't do it so well, that first half hour, however long that is, before they go to the factory, it's like it is half of it's Charlie following him, and half of it is just like random shit that doesn't matter. These one-off scenes of like of people, and it like doesn't really make sense structurally for a movie to be paced like that, but it goes so quickly. It feels so, it's such an easy watch, and it's so entertaining.
For some reason it works.
Exactly. For some weird reason
I said it was post-mortem candy edition. That's what it feels like. It's just very like tiny little scenes that are all just like it really felt like a sketch comedy thing, and they were like,
I was gonna say it felt very Python-esque to me.
Right. Yeah.
Like the school teacher definitely seemed like someone who could have been in a Monty Python skit.
Yeah.
He's like, well, I can't do 2% of 1,000. Yeah. Like he can't do that math for some reason.
That's impossible.
Yeah.
2? What do you mean you only opened 2?
I don't care very much for chocolate.
Well, I can't figure out just 2, so let's pretend you opened 200. Now, if you opened 200 Wonka bars, apart from being dreadfully sick, you'd have used up 20% of 1,000, which is 15% half over again, 10%.
I think the movie just like it goes all in on being a kid's, or like an adaptation of a children's book that not a lot of movies do in like such a like fitting way, I guess. Like it really feels like because as a kid watching it, I remember like none of that pre-factory stuff really was as like wacky to me, I don't think. Because as a kid, I'm like, well, of course everybody wants to get into the chocolate factory. Of course that's all anybody cares about. It's Willy Wonka. Yeah. But now as an adult, there's like all this newfound comedy of like just everybody in the world being so obsessed with it.
The ransom scene is probably the tops out of that, because she's just so desperate, like, I want my husband back, and then they want your box of Wonkas, and I thought of like Rush Hour, or Chris Tucker's like, who you think you got, Chelsea Clinton?
Yeah.
She's like, well, how long do I have to think about it?
Yeah. That's what she says.
What did they ask for? Whatever it is, they can have it.
They want your case of Wonka bars. Miss Curtis, did you hear me? It's your husband's life or your case of Wonka bars.
How long will they give me to think it over?
Yeah, the opening segment, it's equal parts like showing Charlie and like how drinking cabbage water soup is like their but just like one of my first notes was just like, thanks, man with a cart full of knives. Like there's I was like, totally forgot about that, dude. And also like the way that they do Slugworth is so creepy too. Like when Charlie finally gets like the golden ticket, I was like, how long was Slugworth standing in that alleyway waiting for Charlie to just, and he just like pops up out of nowhere?
I have a theory that the tickets are like placed very specifically.
See, I kind of okay, it could be that. My theory or whatever is that like they just somehow had a way of tracking, so like they know which boxes that ship out of the factory have the golden ticket. Because for instance, the ticket that Veruca gets in their like sweatshop of candy bar openers, he's there before it's even opened. Like he's just standing down there on the floor, and then he helps the lady up the stairs, and then he stops Veruca there.
It's
but
so
then, like,
creepy how
with
he does it
Augustus,
too.
Yeah,
He's
with
just
all
like-
of them. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
really, once you know what happens to those kids in the factory, that dude is just like an angel of death.
Yeah, pretty much.
He's just there, like, sealing these kids' fates with, like, this golden ticket.
Yeah, that's what
it's-
he's in it for. He likes the torture. He
That's
gets
his commission.
all those kids, like Augustus Gloop, Veruca Salt. They all just get like wheeled off or taken someplace off screen. You don't know where, but it's to it's to his little lab that he's got. He's like
Like
just
doing,
like
old Nazi
experiments and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny, like, thinking, like Mike TV. Oh, he gets shrunk, and then they're like, oh, taffy puller, but he's shrunk. Augustus, they just have to like find him in the disposal or what. I forget the difference or whatever.
Yeah.
Furnace.
But it's always like, yeah, they might be, but they're probably fine. Violet, they just have to squeeze the juice out of her or whatever. But Charlie, because his failure or whatever, because all the kids disobey, even Charlie, because he drinks the fizzy lifting drink. If they hadn't have figured that out, it wouldn't have been like a maybe or like, we got to go get him from the garbage dump or whatever. He would have been chopped into a million pieces by those fans. Like,
Yeah.
they would have come back. They would have like turned around and they would have just seen like raining blood.
But like
no,
his,
the blood
his, like,
would have went up. It would have
his
just, like,
his
kept-
limbs
Oh,
would have
yeah,
still been
maybe.
like floating around.
yeah.
Yeah, like a
Ugh.
Half-Life mod where the
Yeah.
That's what I was
where
gonna
the
say.
like clipping is all messed up.
Yeah, so I remember one thing I remember very specifically from like the early 2000s, I want to say, and I think Trevor showed me this website when we were in computer class in like middle or high school. But there was a website called Say No to Grandpa Joe. Are either of you familiar with this?
Yeah.
No, but
Yes.
I feel like this is gonna be in line with something I took note of this time that I never thought of before.
That Grandpa Joe is the villain of this movie.
Yeah,
or that
he's-
he sucks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
kind of
a
a piece
real
of
piece of
shit.
shit. He
Yeah.
is like, Charlie brings the golden ticket and he's like, I've got a golden ticket. Like, look at me. I did this.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
he convinces Charlie to do the fizzy lifting drink, which disqualifies him from the thing. And then at the end, he's
Yeah.
like, we'll take this to Slugworth and we'll make $10,000. Like, the whole time, he
Yeah.
is like not a moral character at all.
Well, it's some of the stuff like that. I mean, I guess maybe the fizzy sure, but taking it to Slugworth afterwards, like, I don't necessarily chalk that up to him being
Oh, yeah.
like, I don't chalk that up as like being a bad thing. Like, the things more that bother me about Grandpa Joe is that he just like sleeps in a bed all day and makes his daughter like,
or daughter-in-law
work for the entire. No, I think it's his daughter, because I think she calls him dad at some point. Although maybe she just calls both
Yeah.
of the
Yeah.
Making her like slave away for the whole family, and then his grandson like also start having to do that.
Right.
And like as a kid, that stuff never really. And I mean, the other three grandparents are doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
As a kid, I didn't like think about it as much because I think I always like thought in my head that they were all paralyzed or like something was wrong with
Right.
them. And then, it was sort of like the magic of the golden ticket or something.
Yeah.
That was how my kid brain explained it away. Like, oh, now he can walk
Right.
because of this.
Well, no,
Right.
But
it was
no, it's just like they just don't want to. They
No,
just don't
because
wanna
He's an
do it.
opportunist.
It was
Yeah.
because they had passed a stimulus like a year before that, and all the extra unemployment benefits, so he didn't want to work.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
he's
I get
just
that then.
he became quote unquote disabled. Yeah, I
This
think
tumor on the state.
yeah, I think that like kind of the thing with Grandpa Joe is like he's not supposed to be good. Like it's supposed to show that like out of everybody in the factory, including Charlie's own like guardian, Charlie's the only one that's like pure of heart.
Yeah,
Even
everyone
with
is
this
corruptible.
Right. And yeah, because even at the end, like when he's like you won, yeah, you win the factory and all this stuff. I'm giving it to you, and you can come here and live with me. And then Grandpa Joe's like, me too. Like his first thing is like, yeah, I can come too, right?
No, Charlie should have just been like, kick rocks, bitch, and then kicks him out of the glass elevator.
Yeah. Wonka says you can move into the factory, and Grandpa Joe says, and me? Like, yeah, don't even ask about your wife for the rest of your family. Just be like, yeah, me too, right? You know that Grandpa Joe's gonna like just have like a conservatorship and just take over all of Charlie's shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the way that Willy Wonka is talking at the end, do you think he kills himself after the movie's over? Because he's like, I can't do this forever. I need somebody to take over for me, and why not a kid?
No, not. I mean, maybe not right after. He's got to train him a little bit.
Yeah,
and then I think he probably he cooks himself into like a chocolate bar or something.
He does it in the most whimsical way possible.
Yeah. It's funny you say that because like I was dying laughing because I was thinking of like a short. I was trying to find a version of this online where like somebody went back and like interviewed the kids like 20 years later, just to see like where they were at, and I was just like it just seems like such a good like short idea. Like Augustus Gloop would obviously have an eating disorder, probably also Violet Beauregard. Mike TV would finally got his gun, but then shot an innocent bystander during a robbery at a convenience store, trying to be a good guy with a gun.
Oh.
Veruca Salt, I actually think that she probably will become like, she's like fairly normal, but she's still like a Karen, and she's definitely anti-vax. So here's the fiction I have for Charlie. Grandpa Joe goes back to bed shortly after the tour, and he just has Oompa Loompas carry him around everywhere, and then him and Charlie become estranged until his passing. Charlie experiments with psychedelics a lot to try and capture some of the magic Wonka had. Cuts corners on supplies, product suffers. Slugworth finally gets the everlasting gobstopper, puts all candy makers out of business. One day, Charlie loads up the glass elevator with a sack of raw cocoa beans and hits the same button he did that fateful day with Wonka. Doesn't pick up enough speed, cut to ribbons. So he kills himself.
Oh my God.
Because that was another thing that I thought of, like, this time was, okay, so he wants a everlasting gobstopper that never gets smaller, so you can suck it forever. So why would that put Slugworth out of business? That would put everybody out of business. It's never-ending candy. Like, everybody would buy one thing from Wonka.
I will say that. It's not like, could still make his chocolate bars.
But that's not going to make you a ton of money. It's going to make you a ton of money in
your chocolate bars?
No, everlasting gobstoppers.
Yeah, because you buy you buy one, and then that's it. You're done.
Yeah. In a capitalist society, an everlasting gobstopper, you would want a neverlasting gobstopper. Something you put in you want like cotton candy. Whoever made cotton candy is a fucking genius.
Well, that's how we achieve a truly classless society. Is we make everlasting gobstoppers, but we need to make everlasting gobstopper versions of every commercial good, and then we never have to buy anything ever again, and then everything stops. I do like this gritty Netflix series that you've crafted up, though.
Right. I did put the Oompa Loompas have a successful children's TV program. That's where they go.
Mix an everlasting gobstopper with a refined version of the gum that Violet chews that turns her into a blueberry.
And World Hunger?
Yeah. There you go. It's like one that you can pop in, have your 3-course dinner, and then just pop it out. Keep it in a plastic bag so your cat hair doesn't get all over it. I wonder how that would merge with it. You'd have like a steak dinner like would it do kind of like when if you get like a cat hair on your everlasting 3-course meal gobstopper, it'd be like Jeff Goldblum merging with the Fly.
Yeah.
So you'd have like a cat flavored steak dinner. Whoop. Go ahead.
When they get what is it? He gives the money to Grandpa Joe. Charlie gives the money to Grandpa Joe for his tobacco, which again, his family struggles to eat, and he's smoking tobacco.
Yeah.
Admittedly, he says, I shouldn't be smoking tobacco if we can't even afford bread. But then he takes the money and he buys candy with it. And then they the way they open that candy bar is so disturbing to me.
Are you talking about when
which
it's
one?
just him and Grandpa Joe?
Yeah, in the dark,
so like the second
by
one,
Grandpa Joe's bed. It's like that's the invention of edging when they open that candy bar. It's just like, yeah, open that end.
No, you
slow.
No, you open.
And he goes
slower.
like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that.
Yeah. I bet the ticket makes the chocolate taste terrible. For being a poor kid, Charlie sure is spoiled. I guess he gets that from Grandpa Joe.
Well, I think that was him just trying to make Grandpa Joe not feel as bad.
No, I know. I'm just saying,
think that was...
not even in that scene. There's a few things where he's like, yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah. He's very like Luke Skywalker in that situation.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Which I mean makes sense because, like, A New Hope is supposed to be like the prototype or like the archetype. That's what I mean, of like the hero's journey. So it makes sense that like a lot of that would echo something that happened in like an older kid's book like this.
Right. And I'm not saying that poor people don't have a reason to like complain.
Sure.
But he just like
this little shithead's got it too good.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is just a little thing. It's so I don't want to talk about it too much because there is like a lot more that I want to discuss. It's funny, I only left myself like a tiny little bit on my page because I just didn't think I was gonna have notes for this, and I worked with what I had, but like there's like a lot more about this that I want to talk about than I originally thought. So the scene where he goes to see his mom and she's doing the laundry, I remember thinking as a kid, like, I didn't understand what she was doing there. And I thought that, like, I just remember the like bath water that she's washing the clothes in just like look much like a lot of stuff in this movie just looks very like pleasing to the eye. And like it looked like I don't know, I just remember you see like the steam rising off, so it looks really nice and warm. I didn't know, like, was she making soup or something like that? And I remember
sticking her like full, like her arms up to her elbows, and she's making soup.
Yeah, she's making a nice borscht. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was another thing that just never clicked to me as a kid, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, obviously as an adult, it's clear, but. Yeah. I don't know. I was like, why does she have like a big... It looked like she had like a big like spatula or something like that. And I think that kind of made me think that too.
When I was a kid, when that scene would come up, I'd always just be like, okay, here's where I can fall asleep for 2 minutes, because I never really liked that
I can
song.
check out.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, that's what Kalia said. She said, she was just like, you can just fast forward through this. You can fast forward. And I was like, if it wasn't for the podcast, and like if it hadn't been so long since I'd seen this, I was like, I would skip it, but I try to pay as much attention as I can to these, and even if it's something I've seen before, and I was like, maybe I'll glean something off of this that I didn't, that I wouldn't have thought of otherwise, but I didn't really. It's super boring and lame. It's just her standing there talking.
Time, but...
Maybe I didn't hate it as much as I did as a kid, but I don't know. It's so like there's nothing interesting done with it. Just shows her singing there, and then it cuts to Charlie like once, then it cuts back to her. I think it's the best. I think she has the best voice of anybody who does a song. I almost said it's the best performed song, but it's not. Pure Imagination is the best performed song.
Oh
in the
yeah,
movie.
absolutely.
I will say that. And then and then I also I don't think I really liked this when I was a kid, but my next favorite song is I Want It Now by Veruca. I just thought that was really good. I thought she did a really good job, and I noticed there's like one or two like longer takes in that where she's like moving around the set. She's singing, she's like interacting with like the Oompa Loompas. I'm like, that's pretty impressive for like a little kid to like do all that stuff and do the singing and everything.
Wait, I was out of the room. Were you talking about Veruca Salt?
Yeah. I was. So I said that Cheer Up Charlie is the best like voice. She has the best like singing voice. But then I said Pure Imagination is the best performance best performed song in the movie. And then I said second is I Want It Now. Those are my two favorite songs.
I thought that too. I was like, man, she's actually really good. Like,
she has like dynamic range and like
right.
The part that I always notice is when she like kind of softens her voice a little bit and is just like
I actually rewound that part
and then she transitions to the now and it like she goes from that like soft sweet to like back to like that.
She definitely seems like pause.
I want the whole world.
Yeah.
TJ, you were just doing the like community blooper thing where they were like, oh, there's a guy, you have to stab him, he's on your right.
Oh.
Yeah,
that was my last one. I was like, what's a bean feast? Because like that's one of the lines in that song. I want a bean feast, and we were like, I don't know what that is.
I forgot about that.
We looked it up. It's some see and like
is
going
it not,
on.
Is it just it's
a thing. It's like a 1970s. It's like an old term for something. But I think one of the things that I never noticed about watching this movie as a kid that like was very jarring to me watching it now as an adult is just like I have no sense of time or place in this movie, in both the factory and like the hour or so before the movie starts, because it looks like we're in London or it looks like we're in some like European city, but then everyone is speaking in in like I guess American accents. No one has like a British accent. But then
except
like
his teacher.
Except his teacher who has like very, very traditional English teeth.
Is the Candyman British?
No, I don't think so.
Does he just kind of have like
he's
more like transatlantic?
Yeah, But I was just like, are they in Germany? Why are they all speaking like American English? But some people are British. But then like Augustus Gloop is German, and it was just. I mean, it's a nitpick, but it felt. I was like, I don't know where it. I felt out of time and space. It was so bizarre.
Augustus is definitely in Germany. Violet's from America.
Mike TV is too.
Mike TV's from America, and then Veruca is English too.
I mean, yeah, at the whatever you call it, the like gates of the factory. Everybody in the crowd is like holding up little flags, and there's United Kingdom, Germany, and United States.
That fully like outside the factory looks like England. The way the
and when they blast
and,
up
like,
in the elevator,
and the exterior of like where like the candy shop looks really English too.
Oh yeah,
it is very strange, and maybe I feel like it's probably shot in England. That's my guess. Maybe it's supposed to kind of give off that sort of. It's just supposed to be it's not. It's America. What?
In Germany?
Munich.
Yep.
Yeah.
Really?
But, I mean, the architecture of like the houses that you see when they blast off in the glass elevator, it definitely looks very German.
Yeah. But as far as the like in universe, I guess maybe it's supposed to be. Maybe they do just kind of like not really care about it in that sense.
Yeah, I think
to make it like it's just a kid's it's just a town. It's like a fantasy town, so it's
right. Everything about it is whimsical.
Yeah.
Even the poor people are whimsical.
Yeah. I think this is the only movie I have, like the only thing I've actually seen Gene Wilder in. I was thinking about it watching this. I don't think I've seen any other Gene Wilder movies.
You haven't seen Blazing Saddles or Young Frankenstein?
Nope. I tried to watch Blazing Saddles at that party in Marquette that we went to.
Oh, that's right. Oh my God, I remember that.
But it was very difficult. So like, I mean, I kind of watched that, but no, just this. But
Wow.
I do think that Gene Wilder is fan-fucking-tastic as Willy Wonka. He's so good in so many ways. I love like his little things from like when Violet like takes that gum, or when Veruca's like falls down the chute or whatever, and he does his like, oh no, stop.
The suspense is terrible. He's gonna go this time. I hope it'll last. Stop! Don't.
Like that stuff, and then you see him like in the background of the scenes, just like letting them like kill themselves basically. And then there's also shit like, I love the part where they're licking the wall, and he's like, the snozberries taste like snozberries, and then Veruca's like, snozberries? What?
Who's ever heard of a snozberry?
Yeah, that's it. And then he just grabs her face, and the only thing he says, there's no before or after this, he just goes,
we are the music makers, and we are the dreamers of dreams. Come along, come on.
And then he just walks away.
Yeah, it's so good. Like, he has so many of those things where he just like, candy is dandy, but liquor is quicker. And I really like his little like asides with Veruca's dad, where he's like, hey Wonka, how do you da 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 da, and then like Wonka like always, he like leans in like he's like, hey buddy, yeah, we're both in the biz, and he like that's the vibe when he says
play
this
up
thing
to everybody.
He's like, here's a little inside tip to you, the businessman.
And then it's just nonsense.
And it's just nonsense.
Wait a minute, what's all that small print there at the bottom?
Oh, if you have any problems, dial information. Thank you for calling.
You sure this thing will float, eh, Wonka?
With your buoyancy, sir, rest assured.
He has so many good one-liners like that.
He's like intentionally tormenting them, and it's excellent. And like, and then I don't know. I was gonna say, I think the tunnel scene has always been my favorite, but I think probably when I was young I didn't like it. But he is so fucking good in that scene when he just like starts to lose it.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yes, the danger must be growing, for the rowers keep on rowing, and they're certainly not showing any signs that they are slowing.
Yeah, there are
like
several
the 1,000-mile stare, just like
there are several spots in the movie I feel like where he is framed terrifyingly. Like I feel like there's another one where it's, I don't know if it's the the thing that they ride in that has like the soda bubbles or whatever, but there's like a scene where it cuts to him and he's like on the other side through some pipes, and he's just like looking through it, and you're like, oh Jesus.
When he activates the machine that makes the special gum.
The gum, yeah.
I really like that shot.
Yeah.
And
you can't tell wildly.
And I like it because you can't tell if it's menacing or like, I guess
he's admiring
the opposite
creation.
of that. Or like innocent or something, like he's just like really excited, or if he's like, he's like, one of these kids is gonna get turned into a fucking blueberry.
Well, that's the genius. That's the genius of the fucking his performance. Is you're just like, it's so like wide ranging and multi, like it's like you said, it's almost like confusing. Like what it feeds into the whole thing of like, what is going on?
Yeah, like
how is this place real? Like even like from the jump when they go and he opens the one door and they go in the room and he's like, oh, the door should be around here someplace, and then he goes back to the door that they came in. We just came through there, and then they open the door and they're like, oh.
Come along. full of Wonka. That's the way we came in.
It is. Are you sure?
We've just come through there.
How do you like that?
There we are. What is this, Wonka? Some kind of fun house?
Why, having fun?
And then he just starts like walking down the hall, and he's getting smaller, and you're like, what the fuck? Like, how is this a real place?
I love fixed perspective stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then they open the small door, and I can't fit through there. And then it's like this big, huge door.
And it doesn't make any sense because the wall that they're up against is like this big. But yeah, you just go with it.
It doesn't matter. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
As a kid, I remember because that segues into the pure imagination sequence, which I think might be like one of my favorite sequences in the whole movie. Obviously, it's like the best song. But I just remember as a kid seeing everything being edible and being like, I want to eat one of those mushroom caps.
Yeah, I put that in this I like briefly mentioned it when I was talking about something like the laundry soup. Not that I want to eat that, but like, oh my god, it makes like everything look so good. And like it's so weird because it's got this like late 60s, early 70s color palette that generally isn't like that appealing to me.
A little dull.
It's a little dull and like a little gross because like a lot like the Technicolor they add to it is just like too much in a lot of stuff. But it works so well when you're showing candy.
Yeah.
And even like the wrapping for the Wonka bars, it's like perfect marketing. Because it all looks so good.
Mm-hmm. This was like one of I was gonna ask this question. This is maybe my top like movie that like where you see something and you're like you really want to eat it type thing, or it's like a fictional thing. The other one is Hook, when they have the Lost Boys have a dinner. Yeah. But I was gonna ask like what, I guess Nick already answered, but what is the thing that you guys want to eat the most in there?
Are you saying in just in the main room or just in the?
I guess the whole thing, but probably the main room.
Because mine is not the mushroom cap.
Oh, it's not.
No, mine is the little teacup, the little flower teacup. Is that what yours was too?
That is mine
too. It might be the teacup. It might be the teacup.
Because that's such a good visual thing where he drinks it and then he's like, and then takes a bite out of it. It's like, because everything's edible.
It looks like one of those shitty little like pop bottle things that was just wax, but it had a little bit of juice in it.
Yeah,
I'm sure that's what it is. But in like the sound, he like bites it and it's like crisp, and you're like, okay, that's good.
I'm gonna eat
that.
It. Yeah. I'm gonna eat that.
Yeah.
That or, I think Veruca is like gutting this like giant like, it looks like a melon and it's like full of like jam and jelly and stuff. That
yeah. Another hypothetical I was gonna pose is what you can make up a room too, but like what room and what would be your demise if you were touring the factory? What is like the theme of the room, and like how would you get?
Before.
Oh man, that's a tough one. Because I was watching it, I was like, this is basically like the 7 deadly sins, but like you can't really get all 7 because each child basically represents like compounding sins. Like Augustus Gloop is like greed and sloth and lust. And lust. Yeah, he's all three of them.
Veruca is greed.
Yeah.
Augustus is glutton.
Gluttony, yeah.
Violet is pride.
Pride, yeah.
Mike TV is wrath. Charlie is envy.
Oh yeah.
And then what do we have left? Sloth and
I think Grandpa Joe is sloth.
Grandpa Joe is sloth.
Grandpa Joe is sloth. Okay.
Yeah.
And what's the last one?
What's the last sin? What did we miss?
Envy, pride, glutton, sloth, wrath.
Pride, greed, wrath, envy, lust.
No, right. I said lust before, but then we changed that. So I would be lust, and my room would be the Wonka Candy Hearts room.
Oh, that.
And what would happen is there would be this like extraction machine that like extracts like love and all this goodness or whatever from things to like make the candy hearts lovely and stuff. And I would like hit some buttons the wrong way and it would target my literal heart and it would rip it out of my chest and turn it into the most delicious candy heart, but I would be dead already and I couldn't have it. So
the Oompa Loompas would all circle around you to make a song, but then they're just like
oh fuck.
They're Willy. Just like
Willy, it happened again.
He wasn't supposed to die.
Yeah, they come in before they see me. They're like, but oh fuck. Mr. Wonka,
no,
send us
they
back.
just turn like rabid and just like devour you. Just like, this one's for you guys.
Like, Mr. Wonka, send us back to Loompa Land.
Yeah, this is getting too real, man. I think my room would definitely be, because like I like the idea of using your favorite candy as your vice, because I know you like those like the chalky hearts. I was gonna say you'd become a chalk dust man after you got
Oh, that's good too. Yeah, my body just dissolves away and then
yeah. Mine would definitely be a room that has like either nougat or wafers in it in some way or form, because those are like my two favorite factors in a candy. Or maybe I would just get exploded like a Rice Crisp, because I love like any candy that has like that kind of Rice Crisp, like I think whatchamacallits might have it, or like 100 grands or something like that.
Have you ever had a? I have like a. I think it's funny because you mentioned the thing about us clearing our throats, but like, I have like a weird bug in my throat, so I'm coughing a lot. Have you ever had Kinder Buenos? You should try them if you haven't. Oh, they're so good. They have that like thin, crisp chocolate and then like a soft like mousse nougat in the middle. Oh,
okay. Yeah, I'm all about that shit.
What would yours be, Travis? Or unless you weren't done with yours.
Yeah, I would get exploded, and I would try to climb into the crisp
you can
maker, and I would just
get dehydrate. No, it would dehydrate you. Like what the villains do in the Adam West Batman movie. It would dehydrate you and turn you into a crisp wafer.
yeah, okay, I like that.
Mine would be pudding.
Pudding.
Okay. Putting these nuts in your mouth.
Okay.
Was it leading out of that? Do you actually have a room?
No, I'd be done in the first room. For sure.
Oh, okay.
Not in the chocolate river, but I would definitely be gluttony, and
you would find something that would somehow turn all of your vices against you.
Yeah, really. How those kids don't eat more, and well, I guess it's because they get distracted by Augustus, maybe
by the horror.
Yeah. Yeah, I do like. So then, Nick, you would get fixed by they would have to just put you in a rehydrator to get you back to normal. Me, they would just have to like try to perform like literal open heart surgery and probably die, and I'd probably just die.
They'd give you an Oompa Loompa heart, so your life expectancy would be like way shortened. And then me, they would just pump my stomach.
I also like The Matrix. I forgot how like quickly you're just into the story, I guess. It's just like the movie like wastes no time just getting you into, all right, this guy Willy Wonka, he's really popular, he's doing a contest, go.
That's it. Go for it.
Yeah. And then on the flip side, it ends just like I was like, does it? It ends with them in the elevator, and then it does. It just ends with them like floating away, and
Yep. Yeah, they're really only in the factory for like the last 40 or so minutes of the movie. It blew my mind how, as a child, I think because the way that memory is faulty. As a kid, I remember the whole movie is them in the factory. Again, like I said, it's just like. No, there's like an hour beforehand of all of this other stuff building up to it. But I think as a kid, you just remember those visuals, and you're just like, oh, yeah, that's what this whole movie is.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought this is the thing is I thought it was like 20 or 30 minutes before they got to the factory. But then I thought the movie was only like an hour 20 or something like that. So when I saw it was an hour 40, I was like, "Wait, that doesn't sound right."
Right.
Yeah, it's interesting with these movies that these older movies, and like I don't know if it's just because movies used to be like different because they took time with little moments like this or little characters, or if it was just because they had kid brain, so they like stick out to me more. But a movie that I like in a similar way where I watched it a million times as a kid, hadn't watched it for a while, and then I watched it recently was Aristocats, one of my favorite Disney movies.
It's been a while since I've seen that, but yeah, I remember watching that one as a kid.
There's these goose characters, and to me they're always like very memorable, like big characters. They're in the movie for like 2 minutes.
Oh yeah.
But they stick out so much, and even watching it as an adult, I'm like, yeah, those are very memorable characters, and I don't think you get that a lot with like Disney movies nowadays. Like super memorable, like minor characters, and
I think that is like a kid thing, though.
It could be a kid thing, but the one that stuck out to me in this is like when Willy Wonka brings Slugworth, aka Wilkinson, out at the end. I don't think he says anything. He just goes, and then he's gone.
Yeah,
he's like gone again, pretty much. Yeah,
I think he does say like. I think he does say like "Congratulations, Charlie" or something like that. I remember hearing like his voice being like not as like creepy.
Pleasure.
Also, speaking of that guy, I was looking into the cast, and if you look up that dude, let me give you his name.
The guy who plays Slugworth.
Yeah, Gunther Meisner. I mean, It says he is known for Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and his several cinematic portrayals of Adolf Hitler. So I looked
I could
him
see
up.
it.
I think actually if you just like Google search Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory and then you click cast, the image is of him as Hitler. Yes, it is.
If you search Willy Wonka cast?
Just search like Google search it, and then you can click the cast.
Oh Jesus Christ!
In Google.
Holy
itself.
shit! Yeah. You have to expand on it. Oh my God, that's so jarring.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
You got to put that up on the VOD. God damn, that's so good.
That's great.
Also, the guy who plays Charlie, Peter Ostrom, he looks like the main character, the main dude from Disco Elysium. If you've seen
really?
The guy with like the big pink nose and like the huge mustache, he looks like that dude. That's so funny.
I think he looks like Grandpa Joe. That's what he looks like. He's got a Grandpa Joe mustache.
Yeah, that's his only cinematic role. He
really?
Yeah.
He's like a veterinarian now. Like he did Charlie and the Chocolate. He did Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, and then like decided not to become an actor after that, and just did a normal life afterwards.
We don't mention that other one. We don't mention Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. That movie's trash. Especially compared to this one. It's trash.
That's my weird like Mandela effect thing. Is like I would alternate between calling this movie Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and Willy Wonka. I can
remember which one was. Yeah.
Because the book is Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah.
And I think the Johnny Depp one is more of a faithful adaptation of the Roald Dahl book.
So.
Because in the book, have any of you guys read it?
A long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe a while ago.
Because in the book there are chapters about like of Willy Wonka going to Oompa Loompa land and like saving like their jungles that like live in the trees or something like that. It's like there's actual it's like alluded to in this movie, but in the book it's like an actual thing that like they spend time. I gotta stop looking at this dude who plays Hitler. I
vicious Knids or whatever.
Yeah,
I thought that whole speech about like Oompa Loompa land. It sounded like in the movie. It sounds like psyop or like union busting tactics.
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird. If you go to like Gunter Meisner's Wikipedia page, because usually when you go to like an actor's Wikipedia page, it'll show a picture of them as an actor. For his, it's just his gravestone.
Yeah, I saw that.
Why would they do that? That's so weird.
His Wikipedia?
Yeah, his Wikipedia page is just his gravestone.
Holy shit, it's fucking wild. Holy fuck.
And,
like, it was in movies. Use a still from a movie.
Well, it's either him as Slugworth or him as Hitler, so it's kind of pick your poison.
I mean, Slugworth isn't as bad as Hitler. I'll be the first one to say it, I guess. He's just a well, I mean, he's not even a like, he is in the end like a, you know, he works for Willy Wonka, so he really isn't like a bad guy. But,
yeah. The Slugworth is Hitler, and then Willy Wonka is God. What is the Angel of Death? What is that guy? The German guy. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. Like the doctor who.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I don't know I can't think of his name though. Unless you think of Jack Kevorkian. I think he was also known as.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you're talking about like World War II.
Yeah.
God, what's his name? This is great podcasting. Joseph Mengele.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I swear we've referenced him before too, which is kind of a fucked up thing.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, before we wrap up, I did want to, like, this might be a tad awkward, but it's something that we mentioned before that I just wanted to kind of complete, I guess, where we were talking about how the whole movie you don't know, like, part of the genius of Gene Wilder's performance is, like, you don't know if he's, like, supposed to be menacing or if he's, like, genuine and innocent or whatever. And it's funny that even by the end of the movie, you still don't really know, because, like, at least with Charlie, it seems genuine. But, like, he's still traumatized 4 children and their parents. And, like, you know, if this movie wasn't a kid's book and didn't just go so full in on that concept, you'd have to pick apart more of these ethical
ambiguities.
Yeah, but because it does just go all in, it's like, yeah, man.
Yeah, no, he's well, yeah. Even before he gives the chocolate factory to Charlie, he loses his shit at him. He when Gene Wilder like yells, his face gets red and like his jowls kind of shake, and he's just like, "You lose!" Like he loses his mind.
It's all there, black and white, clear as crystal. You stole fizzy lifting drinks. You bumped into the ceiling, which now has to be washed and sterilized, so you get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
Etc. etc.
It's
There's
I made a joke because like they have the giant like the binding document on the wall. Yeah. And like I was watching that and I was like, I've got a non-disclosure.
I love that ending scene because it's there's so many things in this movie, but like his office too. Like you'd think like, okay, the factory's over, he's in his office, he's working. You think he's got like a normal, like he has to actually be somewhat based in reality, but no,
nope.
Everything in his office is sliced in half vertically, and it's like, why? It doesn't matter why. It's so good. And then he's like, it's right there, plain and white or black and white. And then he opens his safe instead of just like reaching in the side where it's open. He opens the safe. It's so good.
And then the magnifying glass thing that he uses is also cut in half too.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I never like as a kid I thought it was just like a different like kind of reading. Like I've seen like reading glasses things that people have like that where it's kind of like cut in half vertically like that. But yeah, it's definitely even the document that he's reading from is sliced in half, which doesn't make sense. But
so many good visual gags.
Yeah. The mannequin that he puts his hat on is sliced in half.
Yeah.
It's like
Oh yeah, that was another the hands grabbing the clothes.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
That was also like a big laugh because like I knew that shot was coming up, but where the one takes the hat off of Grandpa Joe like actually made me laugh out loud.
Which I mean, it's kind of ridiculous because who would ever stand like that in the first place? You're not gonna see like these coat hook things.
There's
and
some
just,
stuff you just gotta like.
No, I know.
Accept as like for the Okay.
Yeah, and you got to look at it from the perspective of the child abuse. Like, this is a different time where like that doesn't hurt children; it fixes children. They all, they got sung a song, and then they're like, "Oh fuck, okay, I get it now."
Yeah.
But then they still grow up and have like eating disorders. They just don't know why.
Yeah. At the end of the book, I think it's revealed. I don't think at the end of the book, obviously, it's like he's not going to end it with child death. So I think at the end of the book, like they leave the factory and like you see all of them standing at the gate, and I think like Mike TV is like really tall and like skinny, like he got stretched out or whatever. Yeah. So it's like you run into the kids afterwards, and they're all just like, I mean, they're like basically like maimed and disfigured, in that way, but they're not dead. So I guess they have that going for them.
There is that, yeah.
But they were shitty people, so I guess whatever.
Yeah.
They're shitty kids, but
shitty kids. I mean, shitty kids turn into shitty people.
You don't have your moral compass figured out by the time you're 12. Yeah. Tough shit. We're gonna sing a song about it. Oh, you chewed gum? Gotta go.
Yeah, I guess they hadn't gotten their adult names yet.
So it didn't matter. That's
what Charlie did. Charlie's an adult name. He earned it.
Yep. That's true.
Yeah.
He got his name early because he was in the streets. He had a rough life, so he had to mature quick.
I think that was why that's why I couldn't figure out what time and place this movie took place in, because it's like Charlie's essentially like a Dickensian street urchin, but he's like got this American accent. I'm like, he should be on the streets being like, got a 9p, governor, but he's just like this American boy.
Yeah. Okay, you want to start us off, Travis?
Sure.
Since you already gave yours away, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. Oh yeah, one thing. This is kind of like a trivia. A goof thing you'd see on IMDb. During the Candyman Can song, the girl who gets her head fucking plastered by the
door,
the door thing.
I missed that.
Yeah, it's like one of the parts where like the counter like lifts up, and there's like a little girl who's like resting her chin on the counter when he does that, and her head just like snaps back, and yeah.
Oh, God.
Also, that guy's just a terrible businessman because like although maybe he's just getting them addicted to sugar, but he's just like throwing out free samples of candy.
That was my first note. I was like, this place is hemorrhaging money. He's letting kids go behind the counter and all that.
Yeah,
it's a terrible business model.
Like I said, this movie's like in my top 10. It's solidly in top 15 for sure, 100%. And I don't know. I guess I was a little nervous going into it, like, because I knew it was in my top 10-ish, top 15. I was a little nervous, like, is watching this, like, critically going to make me not like it? Because I know, like, especially with this movie, there's a lot of things, like Grandpa Joe being a fucking parasite, the child abuse, and all of that stuff, like Cheer Up Charlie being in it, like all these things, just like, oh, maybe I'll just be like, and there was a little bit of that, but I don't know. This movie, maybe it's probably tainted by nostalgia a little bit, but I was trying to keep that like in the forefront. Mm-hmm. This is going to sound confusing, but I was trying to keep that in the forefront so that I would keep it in the back, if that makes sense. Like I was trying not to let myself be biased by nostalgia and watch it more critically.
That's kind of like what I was saying at the top of
when
we first started talking about it. That's kind of like, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, and I think I did a pretty good job of that. But yeah, I still, I don't know. This movie's goated. This is in maybe my top 5 most watched movies of all time. So yeah,
could be that for me too.
10 for sure, 100%. Every time it'll be a 10.
Nice.
Here till eternity. Also, put Young Frankenstein in the cup.
Oh, okay. Yeah, something to mention.
Another Gene Wilder movie made by someone named Mel. That's Mel Brooks, right?
Yeah, it is.
And Blazing Saddles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he in is Gene Wilder in High Anxiety as well?
I think so.
Oh, anyway,
I know he's in that Woody Allen movie.
Uh-oh. Okay. Can you guys still see me? I'm still good?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. My internet's
up. Everything
my
you wanted to know about
so
sex. That's what it is.
I just wanted to make sure I didn't actually lose internet. But okay. Yeah, I obviously have a lot of the same sentiments as Travis. This also might be in my top 5 most watched movies too. I've seen this an ass load of times as a kid. As I kind of said at the top and what he just said then, that there is a lot of nostalgia tied to it for me too. I think Gene Wilder is great. I love a lot about this movie. One of my favorite bits that we didn't touch on is I really think the scene where Charlie actually finds the golden ticket, where he opens it up, is still so effective. Just how, I don't know, the music cues and the close up on the thing is really cool. And then another thing that we didn't touch on is when we were talking about the singing, the Charlie cannot fucking sing for shit. There's a lot. I notice there's a lot in this movie that this is a movie that I realize I quote a lot without even realizing it, and I will sing his off key. And with the golden ticket, it's the golden way.
Yeah,
sing that a lot
like Bob
myself.
Dylan.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean that's a nitpick. I mean, I wouldn't even think it against the movie really, but just kind of like
that's why he stopped acting.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it's pretty amazing. But it's a 9 for me. Just under it. Just like you said, it's up there. It hovers, but 9 feels right for me.
I believe I am also gonna go with a 9 on this one. I think watching it, I have like, it's almost like there's 2 different versions of this movie in my mind. Like one when I watched it as a child a bunch, and then one like that formed last night when I watched it for the first time in a long time, like as an adult. And I think I like it more as an adult because of like that first hour. That's like these little weird non sequiturs that kind of build like the narrative of the golden ticket hunt, like these Python-esque style like jokes and like that classic like I guess 70s humor like. But yeah, I'm having a brain fart for some reason, even though we just talked about this movie. Yeah, I thought Gene Wilder is fantastic. His like very charismatic sociopathy, basically, like throughout the entire movie, where it's like you can't really figure out what his angle is. And yeah, it's just like one of those classics that it's a classic for a reason. Which I think when it initially came out, it didn't really have much fanfare or. Like I feel like I read somewhere when this movie came out that it was kind of critically like and it's like it's become like a cult movie since then, and now it's like an iconic piece of cinema. But yeah, I think it's great. The performances are great. It's timeless. It's 9 for me.
Nice.
Ebert gave it a 4. Siskel gave it a 2.
Really interesting.
Mm-hmm. So I would say,
who gave it a 2?
Mixed.
What'd you say?
Siskel
gave it a
interesting.
2. Huh.
2 out of 4.
I mean, that was.
And apparently, Roald Dahl hated it. He was infuriated by the plot deviations. So this really is like a Shining type situation.
Yeah.
I wonder what he would have thought of the Tim Burton one. if he had been around to see it.
He probably would have liked it, but I can't stand him in that movie, Johnny Depp in that movie. It's just so
it's strange for sure.
Yeah, he basically was like, I'm going to play I'm going to draw on Michael Jackson and just be really like kind of like creepier vibes, I guess.
It is very Michael Jackson-y. It's weird. Yeah. Speaking of creepy Michael Jackson vibes, here's our anchor ad.
Welcome back to There Won't Be Nick. When we last left off, we were talking about the revoking of Nick's Taekwondo belt. Did you have any more insight on the benefits of not having Nick, or the positive or negatives? What are the pros and cons?
So ultimately, I think it's better. I personally, I am glad that this happened because I was one of only 3 on the board that did not want to even give him the honorary title in the first place. So this might be a little personal bias, but this kind of does fit right in line with my own preconceived notions that I just don't think he really deserved it. I don't think he earned it. He kind of fast-tracked it and used his own power and privilege to kind of strong-arm his way into getting the black belt in the first place.
Okay. And would you say that's a typical thing for Nick to do, just kind of skip, right to the end and kind of cheat his way through life?
Definitely. Yeah, he's shown it time and time again throughout his life. Actually, he was in, you might remember, he was in a couple bands before.
Oh, yep.
And the reason that he stopped playing a few years ago is that he was finally outed as Milli Vanilli-ing his way through all of the shows and recordings that he ever did. So
okay.
I think that's that's kind of ultimately like the best description of him as a person. Is he is the Milli Vanilli of people.
Cheater, yeah.
Which really sucks because it makes it hard to like pin him down because you don't actually know like what, much like Willy Wonka, you can't tell what the real him is.
Yeah, I had forgotten about that whole Milli Vanilli phase. I always remember he had dreads for like a really long time, but I forgot that those two were connected.
Yeah, and he tried to pass that off as just like, oh, this is just what happens to my hair when I don't take care of it, when I don't condition it every other day. He tried to pass it off, but it was clearly wasn't the situation.
Right. He was trying to claim that he was more of a counting crows.
He's here. Yep.
What?
Uh-huh.
Oh,
this is gonna be fun to listen to later. Okay, great.
Shit, I was doing research.
Are we back?
I'm thinking we're back.
I'm thinking we're back. Have you guys? I started watching this new Netflix show. It's called Mind Goblin. Have you guys heard of this?
Mm-mm.
Mind Goblin, these nuts.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Was that it?
That's all. That's all.
Okay.
Because
that actually does sound like a Netflix show, though.
I know.
Yeah.
No, because Chloe got me with it last night. She was like, because someone on Instagram posted like them getting their dad with it, and so she's like, have you heard of Mind Goblin? And I was like, what? She's like, Mind Goblin, these nuts. And I was like, what? I usually never get got by those, so I was so scared that one of you had already heard it, so I was trying to. I've been sitting on that the entire episode too.
I mean, Goblin, yeah. You got me at the perfect time because I was looking into. I was like half paying attention, so I was just like, yeah, because I was trying to find the thing that I was going to talk about. No, I was trying to find the thing that I was going to talk about, so I was like, oh. But I will say that the pudding thing. The other day we were at work, and I just like Isaiah and Dad were talking, and I was just like, not, I was like, whatever, 15 feet away, and I just heard like Isaiah go, "Do you like pudding?" And Dad was like, "Yeah, I like pudding," and then he didn't say anything, and I just looked over at him, and I couldn't see his face, but I could just see his shoulders like bouncing up and down, and then I was just staring at him, and he finally turned around, and we were just like laughing. So then I was like, damn. He was like, I think I could get TJ with that one too, and I was like, I'll try on Saturday. So then I was like thinking the whole rest of the day, like, what would be a good setup for that? And that's when I came up with the idea for the room thing, and I was like, okay.
Oh, that's good, because that was a good hypothetical for the episode too.
Yeah,
it was. I was like, yeah, it's kind of perfect.
Whole hypothetical just for that.
For a pudding these nuts joke.
Yeah, but I also was like, yeah, that's a good hypothetical in the same.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So did you have an actual thing?
No.
Yeah.
I'm
okay. Travis. Okay.
Got you.
So, what is the name? That grocery store where you put the coins in the cart.
We're not doing this.
Wait, which one? No. Okay, which one? What's it?
You put the coins in the shopping cart.
Talk about,
oh,
so
Aldi?
we're not wasting the time.
Yeah, all these nuts in your mouth.
Yeah, there it is. Woo!
No.
Okay.
No, I did have a real quick thing. There's this movie that just came out on Hulu last night. It's called Fresh, with Sebastian Stan and Daisy Edgar Jones from Normal People fame.
Yeah, I remember seeing that because I remember seeing her.
Yeah, we watched it last night. Kelly thought it was a show, but it's not. It's a movie. And yeah, it was pretty good. I don't know what the synopsis of. Okay, the horrors of modern dating are seen through the eyes of a young woman who is battling to survive her new boyfriend's unusual appetites. It's kind of like she really likes the show You on Netflix, or at least like the first season. So she thought it was like kind of in that vein, which it kind of is. But yeah, it was pretty good. The ending's satisfying, and it does one of my favorite things, which, spoilers if you guys think you might watch it, it has a incredibly late title sequence, and it is fantastic.
Ooh, I do like that.
What, is it at the end?
No.
Oh.
No, it's like it is like shocking. I was like, what the fuck? It's like 40 minutes into the movie.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That did that too.
It was like 30, 40 minutes in, and I was like, what? It was like there was like a montage that was like gonna happen, and they just like had it, and I was like, oh yeah,
that rules.
Yeah.
For some reason, that makes me think of like Resident Evil 4. How like I think 20 or 30 minutes into that game, when you finally get from like the kind of outskirts into the village, after you like fight off all the villagers, it like pulls up and then it says Resident Evil 4.
Yeah.
It's like the second time it does the title card, where you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think title cards can be very effective in that way. Like, have you played Life is Strange?
Yeah.
The title card in that is really, really good, because you kind of start out in the middle of like this classroom scene, and like you kind of you kind of learn the basics of the game, like looking around and inspecting things. But it's like this 20-minute scene, depending on how you play it. It's like a 20-minute scene, and then you go into the hallway, and then like she puts her earbuds in, and then like the music starts going, and then it says Life is Strange as you're walking down the hallway, and like the credits.
That's right.
It's really effective, and it's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember the one I was thinking of was Climax. It's a Gaspar Noé movie, and it's like the movie's like 90 minutes, and I just checked, and it's 45 minutes into it is where the title sequence
really
is. And it's basically like the movie is kind of broken up into two segments, and it's kind of like the bridge between the two segments is that title sequence. It's a pretty cool movie, actually. I've only seen a couple of his, but I do really like that movie.
That's funny.
It's different than is it Enter the Void or Into the Void?
Enter the
Where
Void.
like at the very beginning, it's just like,
yeah,
and it's just like in your
face.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's cool though. I mean, it's I guess to you guys or to the audience.
Also to us.
Yeah, exactly. If you dig Enter the Void but want something a bit more bite-sized, I would highly recommend Climax. It's pretty cool. But if that's all you had to say on that, I did have something I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, pretty much.
I saw last night the Batman.
You did see it.
And it fucking ruled. It was so fucking good. I legitimately think it's like my favorite superhero movie since, I don't know, The Dark Knight maybe, or like,
really,
or like maybe Iron Man 3. That's another one that's high up for me. In a different way. Yeah, I have said before that as like no matter how sick of like comic book movies I'll get, I'll probably always, maybe not always in theaters necessarily, but I'll always check out a new Spider-Man or a new Batman. They're my two like mainstays. And I think maybe because they both existed, they both had their movies before the modern like heyday, so they kind of somewhat exist outside of that for me. And it's really neat how good DC movies can be when they don't adhere to the Snyderverse, because you know I like Suicide Squad a lot, the Suicide Squad a lot. I thought Shazam was pretty good, although that one is technically in the Snyderverse, but it's like it is kind of its own thing. The Batman is like an entirely separate thing. It's like another reboot pretty much. Robert Pattinson is the new Batman, and it's funny because a couple days before, and I don't think it was even because of this. I think it was because me and Clea had watched that documentary about Val Kilmer, and we were like talking about, you know, who's your favorite Batman? Like she was like, well, your favorite Batman movie is like The Dark Knight, and I was like, yeah, probably. She's like, so who would you have play Batman in that? And like at the time I was like, I don't know, like it's kind of hard to pick. Like I think Michael Keaton is probably my favorite Batman, but I was like, honestly, if Adam West did like a serious take on Batman, I could see him doing that. Like I think Adam West is a good one, but now I am thinking that Robert Pattinson might be like my favorite. I don't know. I understand a lot of this is recency bias, so I'm going to be using a lot of hyperbole, but he was very good as Batman. He was a very good Batman. Everybody was on fucking fire. Colin Farrell is the Penguin, and you can't fucking tell that it's him at all. He does a really good job. Paul Dano is so good as the Riddler. Jeffrey Wright is a way better like Jim Gordon than I would have expected. I like Jeffrey Wright. I just like it wasn't until I actually watched the movie that I was like, oh yeah, he's actually like a really, really good fit for that character. I was getting really excited for the movie beforehand because I'd been hearing that I heard two separate like review sources cite Zodiac as like it's the movie that reminded them most of, and one of them said Zodiac and Seven, and I will say for me, like if I had to pick a movie that it reminds me the most of, it's Seven. It's Seven, but Brad Pitt's character is wearing a leather bat suit the whole time, you know.
Okay.
Because a lot of it is him and Jim Gordon, like, which is really cool to see. Usually in the Batman movie, it's like, you know, they meet up on top of the roof, and then they're like, okay, Batman's like, I'm gonna go do my own thing, and I'll meet back up with you later, Jim. But in this, they do a lot of like stuff together. They like work together a lot. And with Zodiac, it's funny because of how direct the references are, because I guess minor spoilers there when the Riddler starts like, you know, sending out videos or like letters or whatever, taunting the police and Batman in the way that Zodiac does, but also in the way that, you know, comic book villains do. there's a part where he like sends a video of him like torturing somebody, and he starts it by saying, "This is the Riddler speaking," which is
okay, like this
very,
is the Zodiac speak. Nice.
Yeah.
Oh man, is this rated R?
It's PG-13, but
okay.
you like, if you didn't know, like it seems like an like it could seem like an R-rated movie. It doesn't like show a lot of blood, but it's pretty like brutal. But yeah, so it's PG-13, but it doesn't show it too much or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's
it's not gratuitous.
Yeah. Yeah, and most of it's like detective Batman, which is like my favorite Batman. Like one of my favorite Batman comics is The Long Halloween, and it's pretty much just like a police procedural, like investigating some murders and stuff and trying to solve it. And I guess I don't want to like say like too much, but it gets embroiled in this big like mob conspiracy and all this other stuff. There's like technically, it's one that has like multiple villains but handles them all well, so it doesn't kind of fall apart like some comic book movies do.
Yeah.
Because Riddler's like, he's like the big Batman villain in it, but he's not necessarily like the main villain really. And I say it's 3 hours long too.
I didn't know that.
It's pretty long, but it didn't feel it. I feel like a lot of DC or Marvel, like movie fanboys might not be as maybe they will, but maybe they won't, because they might be expecting like a Batman movie where Batman fights people and there's a big climactic fight with the bad guys and all that, and that's not what it is. There's fight scenes, there's some action scenes, but for a 3-hour movie there's like kind of a brief one at the beginning that's just kind of like establishing the whole scene. There's like 2 or 3, I don't know, there's really not that many for the whole movie. And I think the sound design, the music is amazing, and it makes these like moments hit so hard. Like in the opening monologue, he's talking about like the fear that he strikes in people, and the way that it like establishes it is it like shows a guy robbing a bank and he runs outside and then he looks up into the sky, and Batman saying like, I might not even be there. And you see Batman is like, where he is, he's like not by them, but this guy like runs out of the store, he looks up into the sky and sees the bat signal, and then he like looks off down the street into like shadows, and it just like does this slow tracking shot into the shadows, and then it'll like cut away to somebody else like beating the shit out of somebody, and then they're like graffitiing, and then they like drop their spray paint can, and then it rolls down, and then they look into the shadows, and then it cuts away, and like it does that a couple times, and then it does it again, and then Batman actually shows up in one of them. And there's other moments where like, even though I knew like exactly what was going to happen, it's just the way that it's edited, the way that the sound design works. Like I actually like felt like a like welling in my chest, where I was like, I wanted to go like, but yeah, ultimately really fucking great. I don't like put as much thought into movies that I don't or like ratings into ones that like I don't do, that we don't officially do for the show, but I gave it a 9 as well. So
okay.
I really loved it. It's on a Willy Wonka level, It's on the same level.
Very very similar themes and ideas presented in both movies. I do want to see it in theaters, which I might have to go solo, because Chloe was like, it's 3 hours and I know I'm gonna have to pee. Yeah. So it's like,
I'm gonna really tried holding it, but like right at the end she had to go.
I'm gonna have to like do some piss Olympics before I go see it and like train my body to not pee.
I think you guys know I've been mostly I've been more hesitant to like go to the theaters and like go do stuff since COVID. I've seen a few movies in theaters, and I want to go see this one again in theaters. So, yeah, it was really, really great.
Cause like I don't know, like I don't hate watching the movies on like streaming services, because like I've got like a decent like sound system, and like the TV's pretty decently sized, so like that in that aspect it's fine. But I need that distraction free environment where I'll get spanked if I'm on my phone. Like I need something like that, because like we watched The French Dispatch. I think we talked about it last time. But like that was another movie where I was just like, at some spots I'd be like, oh, who do I recognize that from? And it's just like, I need an environment where I can't get on IMDb, because I am like so awful about recognizing someone from another thing and being like, why do I know that person?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I just want to see it in theaters again, because I want to see it again.
It's
but
a fun.
Also the ride, like seeing it in theaters was like a great experience too. But yeah. I actually have, I'm mostly done now, but I pulled from my shelves the ones that it like reminded me the most of. So I have Year One, The Long Halloween, which I mentioned, and then Earth 1 Volume 2. So I'm gonna like read all those over the weekend. It really inspired me to get back into them. But yeah, so yeah, I know
go see the Batman.
I'm not the only person saying it, but yeah, go see the Batman.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna go see it tomorrow now or something. I'll find time for it.
Dope. And as for the next week's movie, we are still in our Celeb Rex month. So next week is our last normie one, and then the week after is our dud, which is another one courtesy of Elijah Wood. So our last quote unquote good normal recommendation, I guess, is comes from Anthony Starr, who is a Homelander from The Boys, is what he's known for. And this is because I think I told you guys last week or the week before that I'm kind of alternating like more well-known movies with the lesser-known ones. So this is another lesser-known one. It is a French movie from 2010, directed by Jacques Audiard, called Un Prophète, or A Prophet, but that's how he said it to me. The music's by Alexandre Desplat, so at least there's somebody in it that I know. But this is the only one I'd never even heard of this one before, and I only recognize like one of the actors. So this one's I don't know. I really don't know much about it. It's a crime drama. So
I wish I remembered any French so I could just watch it in French.
I can't. I don't know how to Google this. What's it called?
You can search A Prophet. A Prophet.
If you don't know how to spell it in French like me.
Oh, because it's giving me the Merriam-Webster's definition of the word prophet.
Really? Maybe you should.
If I type,
maybe you should.
I typed a prophet, and it's like dictionary.
It's just type un, U-N, and then prophet, but then put an E at the end.
Yeah.
A prophet. Oh, Prophet.
Yeah.
Oh, did you think it was like profit, like money?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. I thought you were talking about like financial
Gotcha.
things.
I
Okay.
didn't
No.
even think
Okay.
of that. That's funny.
I found it now. Okay. Cool. All right.
So, watch A Prophet, Un Prophet, before next week's episode. If you don't want to be spoiled, it is on Amazon Prime, YouTube, Apple TV for rent. So go check it out on one of those, and also on multiple platforms is us, our show. we stream this on YouTube and Twitch in video form every Wednesday at 7 p.m. EST, and then podcast form on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and more at the same time every week. So, tune in then for the brand new shit.
That new shit.
And we have socials on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, where we post stuff. I don't know. I feel like I'm forgetting something else. Am I forgetting something else?
No. Yeah, I haven't done anything with the TikTok yet, so.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah. What were you going to say, Travis?
I was just going to say, send us a comment or whatever. We might not get to it because we get kind of like inundated with
we get so many
comments and stuff.
Yeah,
so
right, yeah.
Sorry if we don't get to yours. We'll get to them eventually. We like to respond to all of them.
Yeah. Yeah, so without any further ado, I don't know, that's weird to say now. I am your deadbeat grandpa. No, scratch that. Reverse it. I'm your soup making mama, TJ, aka J Spot Jack Cheese, and with me as always.
I am your scar-faced, alley-waiting angel of death. Give me that everlasting gobstopper recipe. Nick, a.k.a. Dr. Funk on Twitch, and with me as always.
As always, I am your sloppy, lustful pudding boy, Travis, a.k.a. the Super General. Also, Grandpa Deadbeat would be a good name for a revival of Grandpa Crane.
Grandpa Deadbeat, yeah, coming to a screen near you.
All right. See.
Bye.
Later. Cheer up.
Cheer up, Charlie.
Where's the golden way? You know what he sounds like? He
All
sounds
right,
like
I stopped
Chris
right
Chan.
there.
He sounds like Chris Chan.